What happens when your ambition is tested by corruption? Let's explore. In the month of July this year, two shocking scandals came by. Oh, when I say shocking, it's not murderous scandals. And these two scandals were about cheating. One was from Rajasthan, other was from Indore. Now, one involved Rajasthan open school system. And what was shocking in this case was, in a certain district of Rajasthan, what the flying squad found out was school teachers were writing answers on blackboard and helping the students. Can you imagine the depth of cheating? Further, in Indore, Devi Ahilya Vishwavidyalaya University, that is, recorded almost 350 cheating cases in that semester exams. It's huge numbers. And in India, cheating is very rampant. Exam cheating is very rampant. It exists at multiple levels, right from 10th standard onwards. It goes to competitive exams. It's very rampant. And today I'm going to pick up one such case study. And this case study was in 2021, where students were expected to decode the case, where you were asked, how should a vice principal respond to cheating happening in his college? And here's a case outline. You are vice principal of a degree college in one of the middle-class towns. Principal has recently retired and management is looking for his replacement. There are also feelers that the management may promote you as principal. In the meantime, during annual examination, the flying squad, which came from the university, caught two students red-handed, involved in unfair means. A senior lecturer of the college was personally helping these students in this act. This senior lecturer also happens to be close to management. One of the students was son of a local politician who was responsible for getting college affiliated to the present reputed university. The second student was son of a local businessman who has donated maximum funds for running up the college. You immediately informed the management regarding this unfortunate incident. The management told you to resolve the issue with flying squad at any cost. They further said that such incident will not only tarnish the image of college, but also the politician and businessman are very important personalities for the functioning of the college. You were also given a hint that your further promotion to principal depends on your capability in resolving this issue with flying squad. In the meantime, you were intimated by your administrative officer that certain members of the student union are protesting outside the college gate against the senior lecturer and the students involved in this incident and demanding strict action against defaulters. And now let's come to the questions. There are two questions you're supposed to tackle in this case. The first one is discuss the ethical issues involved in the case. The second one, critically examine the options available to you as vice principal. What option will you adopt and why? Just like we did in earlier case studies, let's look into the keywords that highlight the whole issue. And please learn this technique. As you watch these case studies, look at the way I am looking at the keywords that actually highlights the ethical issues involved in the case. And the words that highlight the ethical issues are unfair means. Look at the very first one, unfair means. That means violation of fairness. Second one, tarnish the image of college. Promotion to principal. Protest by student union, demanding strict action. If you look at the first and the last word, unfair means demanding strict action. That captures the entire ethical issue involved in this case. Now, in today's case study, before I discuss the issues and the options, I'm going to do two things here. One, I'll be teaching you a new way of doing a case study. In fact, I'll tell you how to write answers from a value perspective. That's the first thing. So what I'll do is I'll give you two ways. One, I'll talk about the conventional way of answering a question, and second, I'll give you other way of answering the case study question. The other way happens to be values-based answering the case study. And here we'll strictly go by values, So let's start with this. Let's identify ethical issues from general behavioral perspective. The first issue that becomes very clear in this case study is violation of academic integrity and exam integrity. Now just imagine a college teacher who's part of the academic institution is helping students cheat. That's a clear-cut violation of academic integrity. That's one. Second, exam is the most important part of education system. And when students indulge in unfair means, that destroys sanctity of the exam, that destroys the purpose of exam. So that violates exam integrity. Now, both violation of academic integrity and exam integrity destroys trust in the whole education system. Second, conflict of interest. The vice principal faces significant moral dilemma, and this moral dilemma is in form of conflict of interest. The vice principal has been told very clearly to sort the issue out. If he sorts the issue out with the flying squad, what happens is he'll get promoted. Now the vice principal is caught. He's wondering what should he prioritize, his personal and institutional interest or ethical responsibility to the education system. The third issue which we can notice here is abuse of power and influence. The two students who were caught cheating by the flying squad were sons of an influential politician and an influential businessman. So money and political power both. And now both are putting pressure on the vice principal to get it sorted out with the flying squad. This is a complete abuse of power. The fourth issue I can think of is the vice principal has some responsibility to key stakeholders. And the key stakeholders here are the students of the college, the faculty of the college, the society. Now he owes them something. He owes the students a fair deal. Why? Because examination is all about fairness. And what has happened here is a college teacher involved in helping students. So where is the fairness here? Lastly, this is something most of you will miss. Now, if you look at the case, if you read the case carefully, what you will see is the management is inducing the vice principal to indulge in something unethical. By giving that inducement, management in a way is promoting, or rather I should say institutionalizing, a culture of corruption. So it's a very, very big systemic issue. Can you imagine? It's not a micro level issue, it's a macro level issue. What is happening is the institution itself is institutionalizing unethical behavior. Always remember, when you look at a case, especially ethical issues in a case, look at it from micro perspective and macro perspective. If you look at my discussion today itself, you must have noticed I spoke about conflict of interest. Now that's a micro level issue. That's an issue which affects the vice principal. But the macro level issue happens to be when the management committee induces the vice principal to indulge in something unethical. That's a macro issue. That's called institutionalization of corruption. So an exam advice to all of you: when you're spotting ethical issues, look at the micro and look at the macro also. Systemic issues also, that'll get you some extra marks. So when you look at these ethical issues are also called value violations. And in this case study, the number of value violations happening. And you can use this method also of writing ethical issues, where you spot out only the values violations. The first value violation, which all of you could notice, is integrity violations. When I say integrity, that refers to strong adherence to moral values. You stick to your moral principles. Integrity is all about being incorruptible. And this value of integrity is violated at number of levels. If you see, let's say the first one, the college staff, college teacher indulging in helping a student cheat in the exam, that's violation of professional integrity. Second, most interestingly, the management trying to induce the vice principal to indulge in unethical behavior. Now that questions integrity of the management itself. Now the third one, the students in the campus, students in the college indulge themselves in cheating behavior. Now that brings into question the value of exam integrity. The second big value violation that you notice in the case is violation of principle of fairness, or I should say value of fairness. Now, just imagine a senior lecturer from the college helping students cheat. That's absolutely unfair. It's unfair to honest students. An exam is all about being fair, and the college officials are expected to be fair. So that's a big violation of principle of fairness, one. Second, once these students have been caught by flying squad, now the management puts pressure on the vice principal to settle it quietly with the flying squad. Now, where is justice here? Where is a sense of fairness here? The third value violation happens to be violation of value of accountability. When I say accountability, it's about taking responsibility for your actions and decisions. If you look at the case, what is happening here is the accountability is completely missing. The management does not want the students to take accountability for their actions. And by instructing the vice principal to negotiate with the flying squad, they're trying to help the senior lecturer also who was helping the students. Where is accountability? The management, by instructing the vice principal to keep things quiet, negotiate quietly and get to the whole issue, violates this big value called transparency. The last big value that is tested here in this case is moral courage. The vice principal knows very well what has happened. Now, this situation tests his moral courage. So that's the last value issue. Now, this is where the vice principal needs to have moral courage to stand up to the management and tell them very clearly this is what happened. And as a professional academic, as a responsible academic, I'll not compromise with my integrity. He should have that moral courage. Now let's come to the second question. The second question is about critically evaluate the options that you have as a vice principal and give me a chosen course of action. The first immediate option the vice principal can think of is compromise. Work out a deal with the flying squad. Most pragmatic option. By doing this, two things will happen. One, the vice principal secures his career, one, and two, the management gets the wish. That is, the influential politician and the businessman's sons go scot-free. The case is closed. So there's a big advantage here for the vice principal. His career is on the right track, but such an option is ethically very, very questionable. By compromising with the flying squad, the principal violates his professional integrity. Now, if you're a pure deontologist, this is a strict no-no. It violates this Kantian law of universalism. Just imagine if every principal, every academician in the world starts compromising with exam integrity. What happens to the examination system? It's a strict no-no. The second option, exact opposite of the first one. Take strict action. As a vice principal, exert your administrative authority. You are the academic head. As a principal in charge, you are the academic head. Exert your authority. Take action. Be fair. By doing this, you're sending a big message to everybody there, all the stakeholders, that you are a very fair person and you're very strict about exams. You are very strict about exam integrity. You are a no-nonsense person. Take strict action. Now, from a consequentialist perspective, yes, in a short-term basis, your career may be affected, but long-term wise, you are building your credibility. You are building your institution's credibility. You are building your institution's image. Now, since the management is putting undue pressure on you to negotiate and hide the whole issue, what you can do is, the last option that you have is, you can scale the issue up. You can write to the university exam board that this is what is happening. Seek their advice. By doing so, two things happen. You are being transparent. At the same time, you're showing this whole thing of, you're showing your ethical side as an acting principal. You're showing that you're a responsible academician. You are displaying your professional integrity also, that you care about exam integrity. So that's why there's always a better option. But there's a big disadvantage. By doing this, you are jeopardizing your career. Now, I've given you three options. Tell me something which suits the best. Compromise, take action, or scale it up, escalate it. Which is the best option? If you ask me, take strict action is the best option. Why? Ethically speaking, you can justify from three perspectives. One, let's take virtue perspective. When you talk about virtue perspective, by taking strict action, that shows courage. That shows your honesty to work. That shows that you have the courage to take on the management. Virtue. Let's take a pure deontology perspective. It shows that you are very duty conscious. It shows that you're aware of these categorical imperative called universal law. You're aware that if everybody starts doing the same that you are doing, what happens to exam integrity? Second one. Third, utilitarian perspective. You can justify it by looking at long-term consequences. What you're doing is by taking strict action, you're restoring faith in the exam system. At the same time, you're building the image of the whole college. Now I'm going to answer this question of options available using a value perspective. I'm going to use value of integrity, honesty, justice, moral courage. And using these values, I'm going to develop options and show it to you. And I'll justify it also for you guys. From an integrity perspective, the first option I can think of, this is completely connected to integrity. The first option I can think of is, I'll straight away report everything to university board authorities. Why? Because flying squad came. It was not internal. An external body came. They found students copying. So obviously this is a matter to be reported to the university board. I'll be transparent here. By doing this, I'm sending a signal to university authorities and to the management also that I have a sense of professional integrity. This is known as integrity-based option. One. Second, by involving university boards and by reporting what has happened, I'm ensuring that exam integrity stays intact. I'm also showing responsibility as an academic also. I'm worried about my institution's integrity, I'm worried as an academician, and I'm worried about integrity of the exam system itself. By reporting and escalating the issue to university board, yes, you are displaying your professional integrity. You are displaying to me that you are a very, very responsible academician. But there's a flip side also. The flip side happens to be your management may not like that. You will have strained relationship with the management after that. Second option, value-based option happens to be, I'll take strict action against the students who were caught cheating. At the same time, I'll recommend strict action to university about the colleague who was helping the students cheat. By doing this, I'm being fair to everybody. So second option will be fairness-driven option. And this value has this fairness-based option has a very big advantage. The advantage is this sends a signal to everybody that you are a strict person and you'll be fair to everybody. It doesn't matter whether you are close to management and whether you are close to whoever you may be, but action will be taken against you. But there's a flip side also. By taking strict action, by being fair to everybody, you are jeopardizing your career, one. And who knows, the management may take there'll be some backlash from management. The next value-based option I can think of is stand up, be courageous. As a vice principal, as an acting head of the institution, you should have the courage to stand up against the pressure of your management. But the big disadvantage here is you'll be ruining relationship with the management. Who knows, after that, you'll never be considered for promotion. Who knows, they may put pressure on you to honorably retire after that. So that's a big career risk you're going to take. But yes, acting courageously always comes with some price. The last value-based option I can think of here is following the value of no harm. Now, as a vice principal and as an acting principal, you want to ensure that nobody is harmed here. Because these are young boys, fine, they come from influential families. You don't want to jeopardize their future. At the same time, you don't want the flying squad to be strict with them. At the same time, you don't want the flying squad also to compromise to their duties. At the same time, you don't want to, at the same time, you want to be fair to all the students. So what you're doing here is you want to ensure that nobody is harmed in the whole situation. So what you can do here is you can engage in a dialogue. You can talk to flying squad, you can talk to students who are protesting outside, you can talk to management and try to come to a solution that's mutually agreeable to everybody. But it has a huge disadvantage. The disadvantage is bringing everybody on the same table is a very far-fetched thing. Students are protesting outside. You think they'll come and talk to the management? No, I don't think so. It's a risky gamble. My chosen course of action from value-based perspective will revolve around two values, integrity and fairness. As a leader, I have to demonstrate integrity. At the same time, as a leader, I have to be fair. So I'll take strict action and raise the issue to the university board. This way, I keep the academic integrity of the institution intact. At the same time, I ensure justice is done to all the students of my college. We discussed two ways of doing a case study. Which one would you prefer? Do let me know in the comments section. Do share your thoughts. So long. Happy learning.